don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and sorry for the delay. I'll be honest. I had the show built and ready to rock and roll early today, and I'll just be honest. I was sitting listening to the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Indiana absolutely take a thrashing, and it made me happy. I've already listened to it one full time today, and I was sitting listening to it again, and I got all the way to the end of it, and I was like, I want to hear that one more time before I start the show. And it was like 8:35, and I was like, I got plenty of time, and I rewound it all, and I was listening, and I was just giggling and laughing like a little schoolgirl and having so much fun in all of the thrashing that this ignorant ass is taking. And I completely lost track of time. I had my alarm set, but my phone died, and I had it plugged in, but I didn't have it powered back on. So Kate got a hold of me and was like, hello. She said, Kristopher ? And I'm like, what's she talking about? I got plenty of time. Oh shit, it's 9:10. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Please like the show, share the show, smash the show, like button, do all that stuff. Comment over here, comment down there, watching, whatever, you know what to do. Okay, good. Lordy there, folks. We have got, four big topics to talk about tonight. It's Tuesday, and we have a show in store for you. This is the 440th episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, producer Kate. I was talking to Brandon on the way home. I'll have to tell you why, but I think we might start calling you producer mom. I'll explain to you why. It's kind of making fun of Josh. But producer Kate, otherwise maybe known as producer mom, is at the controls, making sure everything runs smooth. The name of the show is Doubling Down on Dumb. Doubling Down on Dumb. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith appears determined to disregard sound advice. He refuses to listen to reason or accept input from those that he once considered friends, indicating that he is also unlikely to take anything others say seriously as well. The way it's looking, the situation is likely to become even more chaotic here at the state level. We'll be examining the ongoing disaster that is the Lieutenant Governor's day-to-day activities. While discussing dumb politicians, I will also highlight the terrible, terrible day that Honest Gabe Whitley had today, as he appeared in front of a federal court judge and was sentenced to time in federal prison today. Handcuffed and taken away. So that will be that'll be that. One second here. I'm double checking here. Give me 1 second. Hold on here. I don't know what you're talking about, Tweety Bird. What are you talking about? Union schools closed. What do you mean? Like for the day, for the night? What do you mean? Besides that, well, Gabe Whitley stuff. We'll also be discussing the potential for implementing vote centers here in Delaware County. And we'll also be talking about the retirement of Dr. Donna Wilkins, who served for nearly 37 years as the health officer for the Delaware County Health Department. So that's what we have on the docket, on the agenda for this episode. I do want to pull something up here just briefly before we get started, and bring you everyone to the same page here. I see that we still have our friend Cola Twinkie down below, and that made me think today. For the first time, I was doing some experimenting around with AI, chat, GBT, and all that. And I made the perfect creation for Cola Twinkie. And this is exactly what I come up with, so you guys can see it here. I think this is what Cola Twinkie needs to use for the picture. It looks something like this. What do you think of this? Kate, did you see this? I love this. This is a good... I love that. I'm going to print that off and keep that in our overlays. That looks good. All right. So we talked a little bit about Micah Beckwith last night, and listen, I'll be honest. I don't like talking to or about Micah because I'll be honest, he makes me feel really icky. I do not share, or excuse me, I do not hide the fact that I am a Christian, that I believe in God, and I don't run from that. Hearing the name of Jesus or hearing people talk about God or religion does not make me like wince. I don't shy away from that. And I can talk about it all day long if you want to. I can hear about it. I have no issue with it. But I will be absolutely honest. Hearing Micah talk and bring up the name of Jesus or talk about God or being called in this way, every time he says it, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't feel good inside. It makes me feel, it makes me feel gross. And it does not, to me, it doesn't do what it should do. And so then you've got to question, well, why is that? You know, if someone were saying that were, you know, totally turned off by religion, maybe that would make sense. If somebody was an atheist and said, I don't want to hear about it, that would make sense. If somebody was a Buddhist or, you know, they were Hare Krishna and they didn't want to hear someone talking about Christianity. Okay, well, that might make sense. I don't have a problem talking about God or having other people talk about God, but I've got to be honest, hearing Micah talk about it, it sounds perverse to me. It sounds like he is using it. He's using Christianity and you know, I'm sorry to Micah for that. I'm sorry to all the people that like Micah. I'm sorry to all of those people that feel like he's a fantastic preacher or whatever he is, pastor, whatever he does, youth preacher. Well, I don't know exactly what it is he does. For all those people who say, "Oh, he's a wonderful preacher and he's a wonderful man of God," I'm sorry. It's me. Maybe it's me. I'm defective. I'm sorry. I'll pray for forgiveness for that. But I'm just telling you, the way that Micah does it does not seem genuine and it seems gross. And I just have to be really honest about that, because he brings it up so much and he does it in such a way that like it makes me like roll my eyes and it really puts me off. But I'm wanting everyone out there to know it's not because I'm hearing somebody mention God. It is not because I'm hearing someone mentioning the name of, you know, Christ or talk about what religion is or what it can be. It's just the person doing it and the way that they're doing it. So I want to be very clear about that. This is not an anti-religious thing. And I'm not even someone that says there's people that can be political and can be religious. I'm just saying the way that Beckwith does it, something seems off to me. And Yes, David Williams, that's correct. Yes, that's exactly right. When Copeland looked at him and said, I have seen demons, and pointed his little demonic finger at that reporter. That's exactly right. That is exactly correct. It's so weird, man. It's so weird. So yeah, I don't know. I would just tell everybody out there that are believers, definitely pray about that issue. And if you are somebody that you take your word from Micah, from his church, I would definitely pray about that, because I just get a funny feeling about it. And that's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to say about it. But moving into this, so I kind of thought after yesterday's show, we'd be done talking about Beckwith, about this ordeal, and until the next screw up. But then today, I didn't realize today was Tuesday. And on Tuesdays, for the last year or two, Beckwith has been showing up on the 93.1 WIBC Kendall and Casey program for about a 10-minute segment. And he showed up today. And I think he showed up ready to have a really nice conversation, a really pleasant conversation with his friend, Rob Kendall, someone who had been on shaky ground in the last couple of weeks, but someone he still considered a friend, and the wife of one of his employees, Casey Daniels, who is married to his communications director. And he showed up for this conversation, and I think that he was going to talk about like where they're going next and what he wants to do and what he hopes to achieve over the next 4 to 8 to 12 to 20 years. You know, the time keeps getting more and more crazy. The longer and the more he talks, the more he talks about extended time, and it's mind-boggling. So what we're going to do, and I've said this before, like we'll play little segments of things of programs and whatnot, but I don't like playing long streaks of segments of like other programs. But there are times when we just have to play what's being said because it becomes part of the story. It becomes part of the topic at hand. And for the people that have not heard it, they need to hear it. You're deserving to hear it. It needs to be heard. It needs to be spread out there. And then not only do I want you to hear Beckwith and Rob's thoughts on it, but I have thoughts on what we're hearing. So we're going to start here, and we're going to play. I'm going to play a bit of this segment, and we're going to play a couple different pieces from this, so you guys can hear what's being said. And we're going to get straight into this, and I want to make sure that I don't have it set up playing as fast as I had it, because that was kind of hard to hear. Okay, let me set it up here. 33, let me see, 3330 is right where we need to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to pull this up here, and we're going to listen to Micah Beckwith appearing on Kendall and Casey, Rob Kendall, Casey Daniels on 93.1 WIBC. This happened today. All right, we'll let them take it away.
Tonight.
Sounds good.
We have a guy.
Yeah, we do. He is the lieutenant governor. That's the guy.
His name is Micah Beckwith. Beckwith, hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
All right, so the budget has a lot of tax increases in it. A lot of our audience is very upset because they over budgeted. We were screaming, you can't raise the budget by $2.8 billion. And then at the very end, they're like, well, everything we did doesn't matter, and we'll figure it out behind closed doors in a week. And, oh, now here's $1 billion in tax increases. Does the public have a right to be upset?
Oh, absolutely. And I will go back to saying what I've said for many years on your show, or, you know, in conversations or in posts. We have a Republican problem, because it's not the principles of the Republican Party. It's that the people leading the party aren't following the principles. And so this is a multi-front battle that we're in. We've got to start looking at Republicans that have R's next to their name, have no business being Republicans. And we've got to start on the political front, removing them from office and putting in Republicans that actually know what the principles are, which is limited government and lower taxes. And the reason I won is because I ran and I said all over the state, have your taxes gone up? People said, yeah. Has the government been built more in the last 5 years? And people said, yeah. I said, I thought Republicans were against that. And they said, you're right. What the heck's going on? And that's how we sparked this lieutenant governor's campaign, and people got on board. And it's not going to change overnight, but I am very optimistic, and I'm positive with the steps going forward. It's not going to happen overnight, but there are some good people that are working to root out some of these bad Republicans, and it's going to be, I think, in the next season, we're going to see some good things happen.
Yeah, but you know, people.
All right. Before Rob launches into him there, I got to set the record straight here on a couple things. So first and foremost, I feel like anytime they talk with Beckwith, a disclaimer needs to be played, or they need to start out with a disclaimer. And the disclaimer is, you've got Rob and Casey, and Rob is a personal friend of Beckwith, Casey is the wife of Beckwith's communications director. I feel like that has to be said. Okay. In that little monologue there that Beckwith just did, Beckwith said, as I've been saying for many years, we have a Republican problem. And how I won is I said I would do this and I would push back and I would do that and I would push back. And this is not going to happen overnight. Well, it's interesting that he's currently right now claiming that there's a Republican problem. Because generally when we hear Beckwith talking, he's not talking about a Republican problem. Generally when he's talking and he's doing his day-to-day routine, it's the leftists, it's this woke mentality, it's all of these evil Democrats, blah, 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 blah. But then he forgets that he's in the state of Indiana talking where there are only 40 Democrats in state government, and he's in a super duper duper pooper tuper duper majority of Republicans. And these Republicans that he's calling out now, that need to be chucked from the party, that need to be chucked from government, are the very Republicans that he's been kissing the ass of when he runs around behind the scenes. J.D. Prescott being one of these. And listen, no, absolutely right. You are correct. That is exactly right. I will give you that absolutely 100,000%. Ryan, you are right. The problem, I've been saying it since before Beckwith decided he wanted to run and do something. I've been saying this since the super duper majority started. The problem that we face here in Indiana isn't a Democratic fight, isn't a Democratic issue. The problem that we face are the fake Republicans, are these people that are, and I won't even call them fake Republicans. Like, for example, Scott Alexander, I believe he has conservative values and beliefs, but he doesn't govern like he is a conservative Republican. That's what's crazy. So there are people that are in office that are Republicans that are truly not Republican. They're progressive, they're Democrat. There are also people that are in office that are Republicans, but they don't have the guts, they don't have the balls, they don't have the spine, they don't man or woman up to do what they need to do to be the actual conservative person. They're too afraid that if they do, they'll rock the boat. They're too afraid that they might have challenge or pushback. People won't stand up and say the things and challenge the things that need to be challenged the way that you did when you were in office. You don't have that. I mean, look at it. Look, let's bring it back from the state government and let's bring it down to Delaware County Council. There haven't been any questions since you've left office. Nobody's asking any real questions. None of the council people are asking questions. I love Mr. Steak. I love Jim Mokel. Jim Mokel is a wonderful human being. The reason I will not support him and I will not tell people to vote for him is because I have watched him while the council meeting is go on. It's like all of a sudden a light switch is flipped and he's turned on in the middle of a council meeting and it looks like he comes to. Now, he hasn't been asleep. It's just like all of a sudden he's like, oh, wait a minute, where am I at? And he just seems lost. And when he's like that he cannot be an effective representative. And that happens at the state level. It happens at the national level. So that is a big problem. The problem is that a majority of the House and Senate are Republicans. It's not just a bad apple here or there. It's a majority. And it's not necessarily that they are not Republicans. I believe these people have conservative beliefs and conservative values, but they just don't govern from a place of being a true conservative or a true Republican. That's a big part of the problem. Okay, let's listen to what Kendall says to Micah here.
People are kind of done with that, right? Like Braun lied to them about the property taxes. Braun went on Hammer and
So,
Nigel.
So take it back. What Beckwith was saying is like, it's gonna be more than one season. We're not gonna get this done in the first go. It's gonna take us 4, 6, 8 years. And Kendall's saying, yeah, but people are done with that. We elected you to get this done. You guys ran on this being property taxes being your number one issue that was going to get done in the first year. So people are done with hearing, and nobody's here to hear, oh, you need to elect me for 8 more years, 12 more years. That's just bullshit. Ethan, one of the guys from Ethan Hatcher, one of the guys from WIBC, he had a great statement in the comment section. He said, Beckwith continues to say, if you just elect me to an office where I actually have the power to fight for you, I'll do it. I promise. Well, I'm sorry. That's not going to work. We don't, we see that. We see through you. And, so we think not. Okay, let's go on.
And deliberately didn't talk about the $1 billion in tax increases he was about to sign. He talked about the cuts. People are just sick of the deception, Micah. You get that, right?
Well, but remember, it's not everybody in there. And to say Braun lied, I get it. Like, this is not the perfect bill. No bill for the SB1 and the budget. I'm sure Braun is having to hold his nose and sign it too. But this is, you got to start looking strategically. What is this leading to? Are we making a step to where we can come down next year or 2 years or 3 years or 10 years? I don't care if it's 20 years down the road. Are we setting it up so we can actually fix this thing? This thing has been so broken.
We're talking about shit 20 years down the road. It's going to take 20 years for things to be taken care of in Indiana when we have the entire party that owns the entire government. I'm sorry, we don't have 20 years. You don't have 20 years. You have the here and now, right now. Do it now. There is a figurative political gun to your head. Do it now. 20 years. This dude's literally saying 20 years now. 2 weeks ago, it was 8 years. A week ago, it was 12 years. It's literally 20 years. Now.
Because conservatives just got in the battle about 4.
Ding, 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 ding. Right. Absolutely. Like, for example, the Delaware County Council, the Madison County Council, the Randolph County Council, the Henry County Council could go in and say, we're going to set up a budget and we're going to do it this way. And this is the way we're going to do it. And this is how we're going to do it. And it's going to be done the right way. And it's going to be done the way to where we get rid of all waste and abuse at the local level, because we're all on the same party in Henry, and Randolph, and Delaware, and Madison. Why doesn't that happen? Why were there votes where Ryan was the no vote and there were 6 yes votes, and the crap that was being done was bad for Delaware County? It led to like all of the shit that Ed would do and all of the craziness that he would allow his chief deputy to do and all the nonsense they happened. If they were actually governing in Delaware County like they were conservative, They could have done anything they wanted to do because they controlled all aspects of the government. But it's the Republicans that are in power at the local level, at the state level. And it doesn't matter. The same thing would be in place if it was all Democrats. It's not about party. It's about people and power. All right, let's go on.
4 years ago. Praise God for the shutdowns because it woke people up. It woke people up. It got them off their butts. But the establishment has had the 30-year head start in screwing us the way that they're screwing us. And to think that we can just, okay, Braun's been in there for 4 months. Oh, he's going to fix it in 4 months. That's foolish. He can't do that.
But wait. But Mikey, he did lie. They deliberately were deceptive about the business personal property tax exemption, which it sounds like they've kicked that down the road at the end. So they have no idea what they're doing with that. He is deceptive about the lit. He said he wasn't going to sign a bill that had rate increases for consumers on energy. Everybody knows that's going up. You got this issue now where he raised taxes at the end. I mean, what do you call it? I mean, does he just have no idea what he's doing? I mean, either he has no idea what he's doing or what he's signing, or he's lying to people.
No, I think what's the alternative?
Don't sign it.
For him
What's the alternative? Beckwith's like, but what can we do? And now listen to this bullshit answer that Beckwith gives here. And let me ask you a real serious question for those of you out there that are real strong in your faith and are believers. How do you deal with this? How do you rectify this in your mind when you have somebody that is an elected official that just openly lies to you and says stuff that you know is not true, but then during their day job, they're a preacher? If he's just outwardly and openly lying in some of these things and saying some weird stuff like he's saying, doesn't that start to cause some concern with what his day job is?
Sign it, and then what happens? You don't fund the government, and then everyone blames them for not funding the government. Oh, I get it. Trust me, I'm right there with you. Great, but then what happens when the government completely breaks down, and then people can't go to school, they can't get their Medicaid payments, they can't do anything? Like, all of those things are on his mind. I'm just telling you, this is what he's thinking with. He's like, those are the only two choices he has. He can't write this bill. He either has to sign it or veto. And
he's the governor. He absolutely has huge executive authority. He's signing executive orders left and right. He's doing what he wants to do, Mike. See, I think there's like a disconnect. When you're trying to sell us, what could Braun do? What is some poor singing orphan to do? He's the governor, and they can override whatever they want. It just seems like you are a mouthpiece for him now, rather than being the check and balance you promised.
Ding, 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 ding. Wow. I love it. I listen, I didn't understand where Rob was coming from when he was supporting all this. And he's got to take the heat that he still gets because he pushed Beckwith on a lot of unsuspecting people, a lot of people that came to him. Listen, there's a lot of people that come to me and say, hey, we don't know what we should do. How should we vote? Who should we support? And I tell them to do their work. I tell them what I think, and I say, it's your own choice. But at the end of the day, I would be honored if you would push the way I do, but you have to do your own vote. Now, obviously, we're not as big as WIBC. That's a whole ass radio station. And I know that there are people that turn to Rob and do the same thing and say, well, who are you supporting? So they blindly followed Beckwith and Braun because Rob said do that. So Rob has to take that heat. But I give him credit for doing what he does the way that he does. So he did call this guy out. Listen to this again. And this is where Beckwith gets pissed and the interview, it still goes on a ways, but it shuts down. Listen to this.
Like, all of those things are on his mind. I'm just telling you, this is what he's thinking with. He's like, those are the only two choices he has. He can't write this bill. He either has to sign it or veto. And
he's the governor. He absolutely has huge executive authority. He's signing executive orders left and right. He's doing what he wants to do, Mike. See, I think there's like a disconnect. when you're trying to sell us, what could Braun do? What is some poor singing orphan to do? He's the governor, and they can override whatever they want. It just seems like you are a mouthpiece for him now, rather than being the check and balance you promised to be when you ran.
That's absolutely not true. I'm not a mouthpiece for anybody. I speak my mind. I say what I believe, and I don't care who likes it or doesn't like it, and that's including you, Rob. And I will continue to do that. And I think that we are making the strides in the right direction. I'm not going to just throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not going to give up like you have after 4 months. Like, we have to continue to stand up and say, okay, what's the vision? What's next year? What's the year after? And listen, I'm not saying Braun's the perfect governor. I'm not the perfect lieutenant governor. Nobody's going to be perfect. But I'm saying, do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. We've got a shot here to fix this, and we've got to stay united. It's like you guys, after if this was the Battle of Lexington and Concord, you would have said, oh, great. And then you would have run away after the first defeat. You would have said, oh, it's over. And we might as well just give up and go home. We cannot do that. We have to stay the course and stay. And I'm not carrying his water for him. I called him out on SB1. I said it was a complicated, convoluted bill. I had a freaking tax rally. It was my office that
He called him out on Senate Bill 1 after 4 days of silence on the bill. Then a day where he said, well, he should sign it or veto it, and whatever he does, I back him. And then on the 12th of April, he finally said he should veto it because I don't understand it on April 12th. And then on April 15th, while still telling Braun to veto it, Beckwith signed it. What? He's literally telling Braun to veto a bill that he's going in behind the scenes and signing? Tell me how disingenuous that is. And listen, Ryan's right. It is still early. And there might be, some people out there that are saying, yeah, well, I'm still going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And look, everybody's got to pick their own way here. And there are pros and cons to both. I'm just saying this early in the game, there's pros and that's a double-edged sword. It is this early. It's so early that I'm like, wait a minute, we shouldn't have had all of these screw-ups this early. Like maybe one or two, but not as many as we've had at this point. And, that concerns me. So, time will tell, but this keeps going. Listen here.
Put that whole thing together. We did videos on it. I did statements on it. I talked about it. And then I come out on the 3/5 compromise video the other day, and you guys were blasting me yesterday for saying too much. So I either say too little or I say too much. I don't know what you want from me. But I will tell you this. I'm going to speak my mind regardless of who wants me to do what, whether it's the governor or WIBC or the base or the liberals. I'm going to say what I believe is true every single day. And that's what you can trust. That's what I signed up for. And if you don't like it, I don't care. You guys don't vote for me for 4 years from now. I will be as happy as a lark if I don't ever win another elected office. I'm doing what God's called me to do.
Keep in mind, this man is talking to his constituents. If James King or Shannon Henry or Dan Ridenour or Matt Kantz or Eric Hoffman or Ryan Webb or any other elected official on the local level talked to the constituents here locally this way, saying like, I'm going to do what I want and you can vote for me and not vote for me, blah, 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 I would flip shit. That's insane. And then he goes into the God called me to run.
In this moment in time, and I believe that God might be up to something, and I think he's going to fix Indiana.
Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith is on the line with us. Now, let's talk about Bill 289 and the 3/5 compromise and the video with that, because I don't think that we said that you said too much. I believe what we thought was maybe social media wasn't the proper forum because people were only going to get what they wanted to get out of that. They weren't going to listen to the full video. Now, you've received a lot of attention because of that. What are your thoughts on the video and what's become of it?
I would have done it 100 times over exactly the same way I did it. I said exactly what needed to be said. And the
Right,
problem
David.
is what you guys don't see. I'm gonna push back on you guys here because I heard your segment yesterday. I heard Tony Katz, and what you guys don't realize is Republicans are where we are because we've not entered the battlefield. We say, well, don't engage on social media. Nobody can get it on social media. We probably should not engage on that. Why are you going back to the history? What's the point? The point is that they are using revisionist history to bludgeon the character of this amazing constitutional republic that we have. And that's how we got CRT in the first place. 40, 50 years ago with Herbert Marcuse and Angela Davis, CRT began to take hold as a cancer in our country because nobody was willing to call out the true history. And so when I hear a senator on the floor in the chamber, whether the bill passed or not, I'm going to address it because that is the problem. We're not willing to go back and say, hey, the truth is actually this. You said this, guys. The truth is this. And now we have IU campuses all over this country with woke professors who are teaching the Three-Fifths Compromise was something that the founders used to keep black people down when it was the exact opposite. And they're saying, in turn, oh, America's a racist country. The Constitution's a racist document. We should just throw it all out and start over again. That's the problem. And so I'm not going to sit quietly and be like, oh, well, we shouldn't say anything. They're wrong, but we should just go along to get along. No, we're here in this place because we've gone along to get along. It's time we actually start speaking out.
I'm curious, did you make that video before the vote happened, or was that after the vote?
It was right after the vote. We went into recess. And I know you'll say, well, what's the point? The point is to teach people the truth, because there was a senator that got up and bludgeoned the character of this amazing nation by saying our founders were racist. That's what she implied. And I said, I'm not going to just let that lie. I'm not going to let that go, because that's a very, very destructive mindset when you get up there as a sitting state senator and say, our founders are racist, evil people, and they were racist, and they were keeping black people down. It's like it was the opposite. They created something that even Frederick Douglass said was a glorious liberty document with the Three-Fifths Compromise in it. And so to me, it had to be addressed. I couldn't just sit idly by it. I know people are like, oh my gosh, this is not how politicians, and Rob, I heard you yesterday, you can either be a politician or pundit. Well, yeah, if you're living in the Mitt Romney Republican Party, sure, that's what they told you. You can either be a politician or pundit. I think we need both. I think we need people to be able to do both. And I can do both. I can be a politician and I can be a pundit, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Hey, Micah, taxes did or did not go up in the budget?
Taxes went up in the budget.
Why didn't you make a video for that? Why didn't you sprint and make a video for that, Micah?
I have put out statements.
No, Micah, no. Why didn't you make a video for that?
I will make a video for it. Absolutely.
I will make a video for that. And this was at 10 a.m. this morning, and this was 9 a.m. this morning. No, they went on at 9. This was 10 this morning. And as of 9:57 this evening, he's still yet to make that video. Seems like he doesn't really want to make that video. I'm not interested in what video someone's willing to make after I bully them into it. If look, we know that he's willing to run his mouth. He runs his mouth about the things that he wants to and not about the other things that he doesn't want to. And that was what his point there was. That's there. Listen what happens here. That may or may not be true. I question why these people supported him to begin with in the first place. Listen, when it was between Micah and Julie McGuire, I wanted Micah to win over Julie because I thought, okay, this guy is going to be an outsider. Nobody wanted him. The party didn't want him. He wasn't part of the swamp where the issue is with Beckwith. I'll be honest. He was the outsider, and then he won, and the evil HRCC, Todd Houston and Rod Bray and all of that nonsense started enveloping him, and instead of pushing back, he drew it in, and he was like, yes, I will get more powerful from this, and I will build myself upon this. And he took it in, and he welcomed them in instead of pushing them away. And that's where the issues with Beckwith came. I started questioning Beckwith 2 or 3 weeks after he got the nomination because of how he acted. That's exactly right, Kate. He was not someone that was willing. He wasn't a Nisley. He wasn't a John Jacob. He was an outsider who won and immediately became an insider. And see, it's interesting here. We see 2 delegates, David Williams, who was the delegate and said he voted for Micah and is ashamed for voting for him. Ryan saying, as a delegate, he voted for Micah and he stand by the vote. I hope he finds his footing. I'm telling you. Listen, there's some more damning speech coming up here in a minute. And that's what really concerns me. That's what concerns me.
Continue, and when I'm on the stump, I will continue to say Republicans keep raising your taxes. And we need better Republicans.
I understand when you were on with Hammer and Nigel, you had commented that you will fight against the DEI and the woke ideology very strong, and you'll continue to do that because the children are the future, and you take that as a priority over taxes any day, and that you'll stand by that. So I want to ask you, the session is over now. So what does the future of the Lieutenant Governor's office look like going forward? What are you guys going to be working on now?
Well, the first thing is, okay, what's year 2 in the property tax reform? I mean, my goal, just so you guys know, the vision that I have, Lord willing, 8 years. Let's just say, okay, Lieutenant Governor for 8 years. And maybe, maybe I'll get lucky and only do it 4 years, and the Lord will let me out of this job that he's called me in. But for the goal and the vision that I have,
What smart ass statement did he just make there being flipped? I mean, it's stuff like that causes me concern to think that he's not going to learn, that it's an ego thing for him, and when he's mad, he gets mad and he pushes back, and it doesn't matter. Damn whatever I should be saying or doing. Yeah, I'm gonna, if I it hurts right now, so I'm gonna make them hurt too. Look, I get it. You are right, Paleo GOP. 1 or 2 representatives out of 100 isn't going to turn the tide. That's exactly right. Yeah, they did very little because they were not allowed to do that. What we need to do in order to overcome that is have more folks run and win and be willing to support these people, be willing to give money to them, be willing to walk for them, be willing to get out and actually vote for them in the primaries, being able to get out and to make a change. We need to send 35 new representatives to the House. We need to send 20 new senators to the Senate. That would make a difference. We're not going to be able to continue to send 1 or 2 people here because they're just never, ever going to be able to get anything done. However, Beckwith, in a very weak position, the lieutenant governor, everybody's been saying from the beginning, well, this doesn't matter. This position doesn't matter. He does have a platform and would have a platform to push back. Remember, these people ran on Senate Bill 1. They didn't have to run on Senate Bill 1. They didn't need to run on it. Nisley and Jacob took a fight the establishment approach. You can't. We cannot. We have to become the establishment. I don't know what that means. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, it would be good to overturn the establishment and then for constitutionally minded, actual conservative folks to become the people in the majority. But I would never want an establishment hive mind type of behavior, even from the people that quote unquote call themselves the good guys. I don't know this idea of becoming the establishment. I would much rather defeat the establishment and take over their positions. I don't know this whole idea of becoming the establishment. No, I push back on that. He is being devoured by his own ignorance. He's being devoured by his unforced errors, by his self-inflicted bullshit. He's turned on his people. Oh, beat you to it, Charlize. That's scary. That's scary. Why? Let me ask you, Paleo GOP. Why can we not defeat? Why can you mean to tell me all of the Indiana voters cannot defeat the 100 people that are in the state house? Why is that? Why is that? Why can't we? Why can't the Indiana voters defeat the HRCC? There are 6.9 million people in Indiana. We can't defeat the 100 state representatives. That's like saying, well, the colonies can't beat the crown. We're not going to be able to beat England. Let's just turn around and become England. That's
I'm serving, however long that may be, is to get rid of property taxes. Property taxes are immoral. It's never your property if you have to pay the government rent to stay there. So my job now, and this is what I was talking with my team yesterday, is to say we've got to get the governor and the legislature to start having the vision of what's step 2 next year. And so we've got some ideas. There's some great leaders in the Senate that I trust that are actually putting together a plan. I've talked to the governor about it. That actually could be a complete property tax overhaul where you don't pay property taxes anymore. And who knows? I'm just crazy enough to think that maybe we can get there. But that's what we've been talking about on that front. We've also been talking about obviously the woke agenda of the left. How do we combat that? How do we get out on a kind of a speaking tour around the state over the next 4 or 5 months, going to fairs, letting people ask Lieutenant Governor anything, doing kind of like a Charlie Kirk setup where you can come out, you can dialogue with me, we can talk about issues.
Ding, 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 ding.
What's going on?
Ding, 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 ding. Here, you heard it here, folks. At 10:15 a.m. on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025, you heard Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith say that his big plan for next year is going around the state and starting like a Micah, like a Charlie Kirk type of a thing where he lectures and he talks to the people that come to listen to him. You heard it right here. And I want to take you back. Let's see here. I want to take you back to a tweet of mine from April 12th, where I said, I'm sorry, but the message now can't be, oh no, oh yeah, right here it is. Oh, no, yeah, here it is. This was actually a day earlier. April 11th, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith has been wildly quiet about this turd of a bill known as Senate Bill 1, and I have been wondering why. I mean, this very situation is why Micah Beckwith was elected, right? He was given the support that he had, and he was put in office to push back on Governor Braun when needed. And FYI, it is needed at this time. Micah Beckwith should be pushing back, instead silence. Governor Braun has broken his promise about the property tax reform, and with this horrendous, not historic Senate Bill 1, he, along with Houston and the House GOP, have completely screwed this up and screwed Hoosiers over, minus the 3 brave Republicans who voted against the bill. But Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith has nothing to say. And then I found out that Micah Beckwith spent Thursday not working for the people of Indiana, but rather he was off hobnobbing with Charlie Kirk at Purdue University. I like Charlie, but as much as any other conservative, but Micah Beckwith needs to be in Indy trying to fight for Hoosiers. Of course, this comes just days after Micah Beckwith spent time trolling Mitch Gore over luxury cars and seemed to be upset with the one media guy who's been the fairest to him out of everybody, Rob Kendall. Hell, Micah wouldn't even cut the crap with Rob Kendall, and he was upset when Rob pushed back against him. So after all of that, I have concluded that Micah Beckwith is not the lieutenant governor, not in his head or his heart. In reality, he is a right-leaning social justice warrior playing a part. I mean, look at his official and non-official social media posts. They are all about various podcast episodes that he's dropping or what cause he's championing. None of it is about working within the state's government because he doesn't know what that entails. He is too busy trying to fight the national political fight at the state level, or this cause he at the state level, or he is too busy trying to go viral when all of the people of Indiana need him to be doing is his job that he was elected to do. I called this on the 11th, and then today he's literally saying, my big plan is I want to be Charlie Kirk and run around talking with students on campuses. Complete nonsense.
In their life. So we're putting all that together right now, and it's I think it's going to be a great next few months.
Well, we appreciate your time this morning, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, and I'm hoping that there can be a parlay between you and my co-host one of these days, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Hey, thanks, guys. I love you both, even though I don't always agree with you, and I've said it before, you guys are doing a great job, and keep it up. We need your voice, and you guys hold the Republicans' feet to the fire, and we need that. So thanks for all you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, Micah. It is.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. That was so loving, so amazing. She's so gross with it too. Now, the very last part of this, I want you to listen to this. Check this out.
In federal court day, and I'm not going to let anybody rain on that parade. So this is a happy day for all of us. We have a celebratory beverage a little bit later in the hour with Hammer, but we gotta talk about some of that stuff Micah Beckwith said in the interview.
That was a pretty heated interview. I'm glad that he pushed back. I honestly am. He wasn't just going to sit there and take it. He was fighting, which is good because that's what you want. However, some of the things he said, you've got a real issue with.
Yes. And
why don't you have an issue with it, Casey? You don't have issue with anything he said, Casey?
We'll get to that in a second. And I also want to let everybody know, coming up, we'll probably have to wait to do it till top of next hour. I'll do a deep dive on how to appeal your property tax assessment and the processes and steps that I would take as a low-level bird lawyer on how to try to get the best result of your assessments, which are showing up today. And of course, the lawmakers got out of session
just in time
because they don't want to face the music. All right, so Micah was on
before Micah gets more power. I would like him to show me something with what he's currently got. I would like to see what he can do with what he's currently got before we give him more. Paleo. We need to see he's capable of acting with what he's got. So far, he's not been able to do that. I've seen bits and pieces of that Newsom podcast.
Us last hour as he
Listen
is on
Tuesdays.
Here. And let me preface by saying he deserves credit that he's still willing to come on. He knows we're not very happy with him.
Yeah.
He knows our audience is not very happy with him.
Correct.
And before we play this clip, because there's a couple things in this clip, and the YouTube chat went ballistic. By the way, you can watch the Kendall and Casey show. I want to reiterate something that I've said numerous times on this show, but it needs to be said again. Look, Micah is a phenomenal pastor. Micah understands and is able to articulate the word of God unlike maybe anybody I've ever heard. I mean, he is great at that. And Micah has been great to me and my family, and I consider him a very close personal friend. And I wouldn't change any of that for the world. But when Micah got elected, and obviously I worked very hard to get him elected, and Casey knows this. She's been there for these conversations. I told Micah, including at the big soiree thing that we got invited to. I bet we don't get invited to those anymore. But I said, we will always be friends, but our relationship changes now because you're an elected person. And I will cover you the same way that I cover everyone else, which means when you do things that I think are bad for me or my audience, or I think you make mistakes as an elected official, I have an obligation to call those things out. We built this together, this thing, around a relationship with our audience that involves us not having any friends in terms of how we judge the politicians. That is why we are as popular as we are. The idea that a midday talk show does the numbers we do, that is unheard of in this country. And we do that in terms of our ratings and our share because the audience knows they are always put first. Spent 20 years. Mike has been my friend for 4. I've been at this for 20 plus years with the audience. And I told him that. I said, as long as you hold up your end of the bargain on this, which is the bargain he made with the people, you don't have anything to worry about. But when you don't, how would that look if I treated him differently than the other politicians?
Well, it would be very hypocritical and people would see right through that.
Now, I can separate it, and I've always been very good at separating business and personal, right? To
Here
me,
we
there's
go.
a very clear line, which is here's you as my friend, here's you being the second highest official in the state of Indiana making $200,000 a year plus benefits, okay? Like, there's the line, right? Like, if Micah called me right now and wanted to talk about some personal issue, I would have that conversation with him. But in terms of professionally, he's screwed up royally. He's done several things that are in direct contrast with what he campaigned on and what he said he was going to do and how he was going to operate.
Yeah, there's been some unforced errors, and these are things that he could have controlled. One, going to the hearing, the budget hearing, and asking for $3 million. Now, they did say, hey, will you continue on down the road that Suzanne Crouch did with mental health? And he said, yeah, give me the money and I'll do that. So he asked for more money, even though Mike Braun was saying, no, we're going to be cutting everywhere. And of course, the car. The car issue is going to stay with him.
And now there's an article in Indy Star today, and look, everybody in the State House knew this was coming out, and I think other media outlets have it too, that are alleging that there's some sort of communication with high-ranking people in his office that appear to be in direct contrast with some of the stories that have been told about, well, they just made us get, basically it was like they made us get this car. And these communications, you can read the story, it's up at Indy Star, and other media outlets have it too. And you're right, but the car thing was utterly ridiculous. And there was no way, I mean, we're going to be critical of Diego for his car. What are we just supposed to act like Micah's car doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
And then the property tax thing. He freely admits he doesn't understand it. He ran on it. He got all those votes based on it. And then when the rubber hits the road, he's hanging out with Charlie Kirk and having somebody from his office call me to explain it to him. And then after it gets explained again, not that I haven't explained it 10,000 times, which why do I have to explain it? Then he does this half-baked, nobody knows what his opinion is on it. When he goes on Hammer and Nigel, most people think he endorsed it. And then he comes out and goes, now I should veto because I don't understand it. No, you should understand it. You should understand it's a colossal pile of crap that's going to raise taxes on people. That's all there is to understand. How many times do we have to lay it out for people? Exactly what's going on. And you notice nobody will come on and refute what we've said. Think how stupid they could make me look. But nobody can refute a word I've said. Because you know what? I spent 15 years fighting this battle. I fought referendums. I fought to lower taxes in my community. None of it was easy. I know property taxes probably better than any person in this state. And nobody refutes what I've said. But where was he? I don't make $200,000 a year to be the second in command. I'm a radio guy. And then this thing with the budget. The taxes are going up. He admitted that, right? It's not like he denied it. Where are you? Why aren't you being that voice you promised to be on these things? You were elected to literally, the whole premise of your campaign was, I will hold Braun accountable. And then what do we get in our interview today? Well, he's not such a bad guy. You can't hold him accountable for all of this stuff. What am I supposed to do with that, Casey?
Yeah, what's going on there? I do want to ask you one thing. Okay, because you just admittedly said you've been working against property taxes for 15 years. This has been your issue. This is your thing. When you are the governor or lieutenant governor, you have multiple issues that you have to deal with. Do you have tunnel vision when it comes to this?
He shouldn't have run on it. It was the issue that got him elected.
Ding, ding, ding,
that
ding,
issue
ding.
in this radio station is the reason he won at that convention. Now, look, Micah was blessed. God has blessed him in many facets of his life, and that was one of them. And God uses people to help people throughout their lives. But if you didn't understand it, you've been at it for a year and a half. A year and a half. It's not like in 2 weeks you were asked to learn about it. If you didn't know it, why'd you run on it? Why'd you run on it? That Thompson bill sat in limbo for 4 weeks to learn about it. And everybody and their brother knew that's the train they were heading down the tracks on. That the original Senate Bill 1 was dead. That was the bill that Braun was either going to have to veto or manipulate somehow. How could you not have learned about it?
So you put him in the same camp as Jeter at this point, where they're saying, oh, we got to see what happens.
Right. Okay. Now, he did the interview with us today. And again, he deserves full credit. None of these other people even come on and talk to us. You think Braun's going to come on and talk to us anymore? No. He deserves credit for that. He mans up and he comes on and gets on the phone and has the conversation with us. But he said a couple things in that interview that is like, what planet are you living on? Where first of all, he basically said he doesn't
Hold on.
anymore. And then he also basically accused me of giving up.
Yeah.
So let's play the clip before we address it, shall we?
Sure.
He's doing what he wants to do, Micah. See, I think there's like a disconnect. You can try when you're trying to sell us. What could Braun do? What is some poor singing orphan to do? He's the governor, and they can override whatever they want. It just seems like you are a mouthpiece for him now, rather than being the check and balance you promised to be when you ran.
That's absolutely not true. I'm not a mouthpiece for anybody. I speak my mind. I say what I believe, and I don't care who likes it or doesn't like it, and that's including you, Rob. And I will continue to do that. And I think that we are making the strides in the right direction. I'm not going to just throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not going to give up like you have after 4 months. Like, we have to continue to stand up and say, okay, what's the vision? What's next year? What's the year after? And listen, I'm not saying Braun's the perfect governor. I'm not the perfect lieutenant governor. Nobody's going to be perfect. But I'm saying, do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. We've got a shot here to fix this, and we've got to stay united. It's like you guys, after if this was the Battle of Lexington and Concord, you would have said, oh, great. And then you would have run away after the first defeat. You would have said, oh, it's over. And we might as well just give up and go home. We cannot do that. We have to stay the course and say, and I'm not carrying his water for him. I called him out on SB1. I said it was a complicated, convoluted bill. I had a freaking tax rally. It was my office that put that whole thing together. We did videos on it. I did statements on it. I talked about it. And then I come out on the 3/5 compromise video the other day, and you guys were blasting me yesterday for saying too much. So I either say too little or I say too much. I don't know what you want from me. But I will tell you this. I'm going to speak my mind regardless of who wants me to do what, whether it's the governor or WIBC or the base or the liberals. I'm going to say what I believe is true every single day. And that's what you can trust. That's what I signed up for. And if you don't like it, I don't care. You guys don't vote for me for 4 years from now. I will be as happy as a lark if I don't ever win another elected office. I'm doing what God's called me to do in this moment in time. And I believe that God might be up to something. And I think he's going to fix Indiana.
15 years, Micah. Well, you're jerking around at Lincoln Days and having fun.
Woo, jerking around
for 15 years. I can count without a doubt $400 million of property tax savings for people.
Property
because I wouldn't have
sack.
had the fight between tax cuts, property tax rate cuts, and defeating school referendums. I got nothing out of that. Nothing. I didn't make one dime off of any of it. No benefits, no nothing. I did it because it was the right thing to do. And I believed, against my better judgment, in you and Mike Braun, because I care so much about this issue. I care so much about people being able to own their homes, to be able to live in their homes in comfort. This is the passion of my life. And you and Braun failed.
Right. Paleo, but you got to fight Beckwith on that. Beckwith's your guy. Beckwith is the one that's talking about it. So fight him on that.
You want to talk about who didn't fight? It was you guys. You think when you're fighting with me, you're fighting with me, Micah. No, you're fighting with the 50,000 people who listen to this program every day, the people that I have to face. See, he gets to slink off and be lieutenant governor. And when he goes places, because people want things, they'll kiss his ass and tell him how great he is. Same thing with Braun. They don't have to face the music every day. I'm the one that has to go in front of the 50,000 people with egg on my face saying, I said, trust these guys. I put every ounce of capital I had into you two. And Mike Braun looked right at me with you in the meeting, and he lied to me. He lied to everyone in our audience, and he's still doing it. He's still doing it. So no, Micah, I haven't turned and run. I've been doing this basically my entire adult life, and I got nothing out of it. No title, no nothing. I never asked for anything. And for you to say that and act that entitled and that arrogant to our audience, after how our audience has invested in you, how our audience has gone on a limb for you, you can say whatever you want to me. I'm a big boy. It doesn't matter. But you owe everyone in our audience an apology because they have given to you time and time again, and I'm not going to take it.
We've got True Crime Tuesday coming up. It's Kendall.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Micah is being taken to task by his friends, and we're supposed to. Those of us that have questions about him are supposed to beware. Where are we supposed to fall on this? All right, I'll give Micah some more time. It don't matter. Don't matter if I say nope. I'm not going to give Micah any more time. He's still got 3 years and 8 months. So yeah, he's still got 3 years and 8 months. But if he continues going at the speed and in the manner that he's been going at, it's going to be a long 3 years and 8 months. What do you mean, Paleo GOP? Rob isn't wrong, but it's pathetic. You're right, but you suck. You're right, but it's no good. He's not wrong, but it's pathetic. Dude, that makes no sense. That makes no sense, bro. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I'm going to give him another 3 years and 8 months. I didn't vote for the guy nor his daddy, Braun, to begin with. I won't vote for them again. I didn't vote for them to begin with. But, yeah, he's got another 3 years and 8 months. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to call out the bullshit as I see it and call out the bullshit that occurs every other week or every other 2 weeks, for the next 3 years and 8 months, I guess. So that's where we are. Okay. So we'll continue focusing on what goes on there as that goes on and see what happens. I just wish that when our Republicans come out, look, folks, we just talked about the 2026 election last night. When the people start coming around, specifically those state officials, the state representatives, the state senators that are coming around and asking for your vote next year, just in a couple months, in basically a year from now, when they start coming around and saying, please vote for us. We want to do this, this, and this. I want you to look them in the eye and I want you to say, has something stopped you from doing it the last 15 years? What stopped you from doing any of that last year or the year before or the year before or the year before or the year before or the year before? Remember when you had the 2 teachers on from Union School? They weren't teachers. They were school board members. And you're saying, well, that's what I had them on about. I had them on because they had that school closing. What? I'm confused at what's going on here. Yeah, that's the reason we had them on, because Senate Bill 1 passed and that school closing was shoved up inside Senate Bill 1 somewhere in the nether regions. And so after it was voted on, people found out that, oh, wait a minute, they voted to shut down that school in July of 2027. That being said, now the school is fighting it. They have constitutional attorneys, and they are going to fight it on the grounds that due process wasn't gone through. The proper steps hadn't been triggered, and I feel like they will come out victorious on it. Now, I don't know what that means, because the state could then just turn around and go through the steps to shut it down, and they might very well win. They might very well do that, but it is that. So that's that. Okay, time will tell. We'll keep you posted here. What's going on? All right, moving on from here, I want to go into Honest Gabe Goes Away. Give you guys a little bit of information about this. We've followed this. Thank you there, Kate. We followed this guy for a little bit here. I don't know what the situation is. It's kind of like punching down, so I'm not going to do a whole bunch of it. It's just a freaking weird deal. This guy has had all kinds of problems. It's honestly like this kid was sitting around and he was like, I don't have any plans for the summer of 2025. So I might try to go to prison for that stretch. Like, literally, it wasn't like this kid was a drug addict and he broke in someplace to steal money or to steal items to sell, to pawn, to get his high. It wasn't like he was a drinker and he was on the road drunk and he got arrested for OWI. It's not like he's a murderer or gang member. It's moreover that he's a dumbass and he decided to run for office, but he didn't just want to run for office and not seem cool. He wanted to run for office and make it look like he had all of these donors and all of these people. And so he lied about his donations. That's one thing. Saying, oh, I got lots of people donating. That's one thing. Most people are not going to go and poll the finance reports. Some people will, and they will know you're a liar. But where he screwed up is he didn't only lie to the public. He actually printed off these forms that at the bottom say, all the information on here is true, to the best of my ability under the penalties of perjury, da-da-da-da-da. And he filed these forms with the federal government, with the state government, saying, yeah, all these people donated, with some of the most crazy names, like Peter Burns and London Bridges and just shit like that. Wild, crazy names, crazy amounts of money. And this cat is literally going to prison now because of this. He was taken away in handcuffs today. He was sentenced today to 3 months in prison, in federal prison. That's interesting. Yeah, he wouldn't tell the members there where his kids went to school. So, JD's such a turd. So there's been so many people that's followed this story, and I just wanted to push this out there. This is such a weird deal. United States of America versus Gabriel Whitley sentencing memorandum. I mean, what a dumbass. Whitley was a failed candidate for United States Congress in the Indiana's 7th Congressional District in May 2024 primary election. Rather than raise funds in the normal course for his campaign, the defendant fabricated contributions that he had received and falsely reported to the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, that he had in fact received those contributions. The defendant knew that the FEC filings were riddled with falsehoods, and in making those fraudulent statements, he deceived the American public about his candidacy. On January 8th, 2025, the defendant, Gabriel Whitley, was charged by information with one count of making false statements in violation of da-da-da-da-da. On February 5th, 2025, the defendant pled guilty to this information. Sentencing is scheduled in this matter for April 29th, 2025. Absolutely insane. Base level offense, he could get 6 years. Abuse of the position of trust is 2+ years added, so 8. 0-point offender. He had never been an offender before, so you take 2 years off. Acceptance of responsibility, he pled guilty, so you take another 2 years off. So total offense level is a 4. Based on the total offense level of 4, a criminal history category of I, sentencing guidelines is a range of 0 to 6 months. Neither the government nor the defense filed objections to the findings of calculations in the PSR, the pre-sentence report. Okay, let's see here. This is totally insane. On October 11th, 2023, the defendant, acting as the treasurer for the Honest Gabe for Congress, filed a report with the FEC covering a period of July 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2023. In that report, the defendant lied and falsely documented that 67 people, not including himself, made contributions to his campaign totaling approximately $222,690. These reports included made-up names, occupations, employees, and addresses for multiple fictitious contributors. The defendant, again acting as treasurer for his campaign committee, filed another report with the FEC repeating the same scheme that he had engaged in October. The defendant lied and falsely reported contributions that he knew had never been received. Finally, on April 15th, 2024, the defendant filed yet another report with the FEC. In that report, the defendant lied again, falsely conveyed that he loaned himself $100,000 on March 7th, 2024, while knowing that he had not in fact loaned his campaign this money and did not have the funds to do so. The defendant's conduct was calculated, intentionally designed to create an appearance that he was a legitimate candidate for office with the financial support of the electorate. His filings of false reports created an illusion of credibility, and his actions were repetitive, purposeful, and manipulative. The defendant denied the public the most powerful tool for casting informed ballots: transparency. Transparency about campaigning, yes.
Did they just admit in this court filing?
Hold on, you're going to have to plug in or unplug.
Did they just admit in this court filing that you can buy an election?
Well,
in a ass backwards, backhanded way.
I don't know because he didn't actually have this money.
Oh, I know he didn't have this money. They said that claiming to have the money gave him the appearance of being a viable candidate.
Sure. Yeah. I would think that probably what would have to happen
isn't it kind of an ass backwards way of saying you're buying the election?
Yeah, it's it's definitely funky. I mean, the whole thing there is very strange. I'm more interested in the politicians who lie about the money they actually receive. Yes, but Ryan, I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this in 1 second. This is going to tie into the upcoming election, and I'm going to tell you why it's important. just because of honesty. And I'm not saying you'll get where I'm going in just 1 second. Bear with me. So coming on down here, let's get down here. Certificate of service. Okay, Exhibit A. He laid out, and also, Whitley has done some of the most insane things. This guy, while doing this, he's another person who can't decide if he wants to be a candidate or a journalist or a candidate or a pundit or a candidate or a political commentator. He has something called the Hoosier Inquirer that is routinely viewed between 2 times and 60 times, and I'm either those 2 or 60 views. I watch it because I'm addicted to cringe. The guy will routinely be talking about the lieutenant governor, but forget the title of lieutenant governor, or he'll be talking about a state senator and forget what a state senator is titled. He will be talking about Eric Holcomb, but he will forget Eric Holcomb's name. He routinely coughs through his entirety of his programs. He had a program on one time for 2 hours and like 20 minutes where it was him and another individual, but he was muted the entire time, so you could only hear like one side of a phone conversation, which was very strange. 2 nights ago, they made an episode where it was like they talked through these space age things that make your voice sound funky. It's all really weird stuff. The reason I bring this up, because this guy has an absolute issue with the truth. He's a bold-faced liar in everything that he does. He's a liar in his attempt to be a journalist. He's a liar in his attempt to be a political contributor. He is a liar in his attempt to be a candidate. And I have to be cautious, and I have to warn you that in the last several months, he has been hanging around an individual who is currently named to be a candidate running for Delaware County, Muncie area in the upcoming 2026 election. And I bring this up for the sole purpose not to knock this gentleman, because you're not your brother's keeper, but it is something that is relevant. If we're going to ask Ed Carroll about claims that have been made against him, if we're going to ask people that Ed know about claims that are made about him, then we have to be willing to just say, wait a minute, we need to know what of anything of this were you aware of? Were you involved with this? And I'm not trying to trash anyone here. I'm just making it known. And the person that I'm speaking about is muted the entire episode. I'm going to send it to you. You got to watch it. It's wild. The host, that would be like you watching me and this whole episode had been muted. The only thing you would have heard is Rob or Kate come up. You wouldn't have heard anything about me. Or you would have heard me coughing through the entire thing. A close friend and associate of Gabriel Whitley is a gentleman that is apparently going to run for office here in Delaware County. And that gentleman's name is Randall McAllister. And I don't know what their connection is. I don't know if Randall is aware of all of this stuff. Like I said last night, to me, Randall just popped up on the scene here in I've started hearing about him within the last 3 months. That's very similar to how Gabriel Whitley popped up. All of a sudden, he just popped up on the scene. I'm not saying that Randall should be painted with the same brush that Gabe is painted with, but it is a fair question. So I'm hoping that Randall will make a statement on this and let people know and distance himself from this. I didn't want to be painted with the brush that Josh Kimbrell was. And so I made a statement. I came out, I said what I said about it, and I've been very forthcoming. I know in the past when people have questioned Gabe, Randall has went to Gabe's defense and he has bashed the people questioning Gabe. That's never happened to me, but like I said, I'm just wanting to give him the chance to do the right thing and explain the situation there, because he is apparently a candidate running for District 34 state representative. So that's the reason that it's important. Other than that, I really don't care about this kid in any way. I think it's really wild. Does anybody have a total on how many offices Gabe has run for? Paleo, so he's ran for District 7, in which he was defeated by a deceased woman. He filed to run for mayor of Evansville, but then he actually withdrew from that race, so I don't think that he saw it to fruition of getting beat. He ran for a state seat. I can't recall what. I think he's ran a total of 3 times, but it seems like he's ran so many times. And the other strange thing is he's ran like all over the state. He's ran for an office in Evansville. He's ran for an office up in the region. He's ran for this District 7 seat. It's like, dude, where are you really from? You know what I mean? I just don't know what the deal is with that. That's a very, very strange situation. So he's I don't know. He is very, very weird individual. And so, like I said, I'm not trying to I'm not specifically casting anything negative on McAllister. I'm just saying he needs to come out and distance himself from this, because this is a weird deal. It says here, let's see, 2024. (2022). So it looks like he's ran for 2 offices, and he's filed and then withdrew from a third, is what it looks like there. So that's that. So that is that's what we've got going on there. Okay. Just lastly here at the end, I do want to talk about 2 things here close to home. And those are vote centers in Delaware County. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Hello, Catherine. For those people that have been asking where Catherine's been, I haven't said anything about this because I don't like to say things until people are back. Catherine was on vacation of sorts, but I started to say something the other day, but then I didn't want to because I don't like to do that. And then people be like, wait a minute, we know they're not home. And then they go and they like break in their house and steal shit. So I didn't mention anything. She's just not been on because she's been on vacation. But I'll talk to Catherine after the show and we'll get her on here coming up here very soon. Let me see here. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so I want to pull up this here. The Delaware County Election Board. I watched bits of it. The Delaware County Election Board met last Thursday the 24th. And the purpose of that meeting was to discuss the possibility of vote centers in Delaware County, which is something that I have been very supportive of from the very beginning. I've been very supportive of vote centers. There are a lot of people that feel differently for different reasons, and there's a lot of political bullshit wrapped up in it. In my opinion, we should make voting as easy for the people that are legally eligible to vote, and we should make elections as secure as we possibly can. As secure and open and easy. Those are what we should do, and that should be a goal for everybody. It shouldn't be a Republican thing. It shouldn't be a Democrat thing. It should be something that we are all pushing for, and it should be something that we should simply be able to do. I don't know why it would be difficult, and the fact that it's been so difficult here in Delaware County is absolutely crazy. So the idea of the Delaware County getting vote centers was the topic of the election board meeting the other day. The election board meeting, of course, is made up of the Delaware County clerk, which is a Republican, and then one member of the Republican Party and one member of the Democratic Party. Of course, the parties are new now. When the parties were the old Democrat Party and Victor Whitehead and Ed Carroll, everybody has been against vote centers. The Republicans were against it, then the Democrats were against it. Then the Republicans were against it, then the Democrats were against it. So it's completely insane there. Delaware County currently uses 44 polling locations, 44, 45. In the last election, we used 44. Throughout the county, we used 44 in the 24 election. The proposed vote center map drops that number by half. So that would take us to 22 vote centers. And you might say, well, wait a minute. How does dropping that number make it easier? Well, right now, the precincts are dotted wherever the specific precinct is in the city or the county. When you have a vote center, you take the map and you place it where it's mostly close to the majority of the people in the area you're dropping it. And the other big thing is you could live in Albany, but you could go vote at the vote center down in Daleville. Or you could live in Muncie and you could go vote in Gaston. You could work up in Grant County and have to drive from Muncie to Grant County every day. And instead of having to worry about voting in your precinct on the south east side of Muncie, you could drive up and hit the polling area up at the Gaston High School or whatever and vote on your way to work and be just fine. I moved to Winchester, and when I moved there, they still had regular precinct areas. When they brought the vote centers in, I was not for vote centers. I was against it. And I went to a meeting, and the clerk there did a fantastic job of laying out why vote centers were a good thing, and they got them. And after my first year of voting in a county where vote centers were a thing, I was totally in love. So this is something that we need to be pushing for. We need to tell all of our Republicans to push for this. We need to tell all of our Democrats to push for this. And I don't think that this allows for more cheating. I think that if you have a security set up in place for the security of what happens at one vote center, you have that same security in place at all of the vote centers, and the elections are secure. When you have 44 polling sites or 25 polling locations, I think with less vote centers, you actually have less equipment to worry about. So there's a lot that goes into this. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's something that we're going to talk about for the next little bit. I would highly recommend people go and listen to what's happening here. When they have the next meeting, I will attend and I will live stream it for the people, and we can get this thing going. And that's something that we can deal with there. So vote centers are on the agenda, and I'm definitely pro vote centers. So I'll keep you posted there. And then lastly, the last bit of information before we roll out of here, after 37 years, no, sorry. Oh, I think I had it wrong. After nearly 27 years of service as the health officer of Delaware County, and after 37 years of service total, Dr. Donna Wilkins announces retirement from the Delaware County Board of Health. Dr. Donna Wilkins, MD, health officer for Delaware County Health Department, has announced her upcoming retirement effective June 27th, 2025, after nearly 37 years of service. Dr. Wilkins has been an integral part of Delaware County's public health system for nearly 4 decades. In addition to her service as health officer, Dr. Williams is widely known for her career dedication as a neonatologist at Ball Hospital, where she made a significant contribution to the care of newborns and their families. Her commitment to improving health outcomes and her tireless work in both the NICU, the NICU, and the public health have touched the lives of thousands of county residents. Throughout her tenure as health officer, Dr. Wilkins led numerous health initiatives aimed at promoting wellness, addressing public health concerns, and improving healthcare accessibility. She has been particularly instrumental in guiding the county through the public health challenges, including the pandemic, preparedness, and response. In a statement concerning her retirement, Dr. Wilkins said, "While I may be retiring and stepping down from the role as health officer, my dedication to this community and the health and well-being of its citizens remains unwavering. I can say with sincerity that while I am sad to step down, I do so with a sense of peace and trust that I will be leaving the department in good hands to ensure continued success in the protection and improvement of the health and well-being of Delaware County." To honor Dr. Wilkins' years of service, a recognition and appreciation event will be held in June. More details about the event will be shared closer to the date. Dr. Wilkins will continue to reside in Delaware County and looks forward to continuing serving her friends and family in the community and her Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and her contributions to be felt for years to come as Delaware County Health Department continues to build one of the foundations she helped create. For media inquiries, there is that. So Dr. Wilkins is a strange bird. She is obviously intelligent. She's been a person that's been in public service for a long time. She is not afraid of controversy. She's been a very controversial figure. She has sometimes led thoughts of kind of conspiracy edged thinking. Some people have said, that she's been gone above and beyond what she should say or do. Others say she's not gone far enough. So it's definitely been an interesting time with Dr. Wilkins. Not everybody agrees with her. Not everybody likes her. Some people absolutely love her, and some people agree with her constantly. So, sounds like a normal public servant, but that's pretty big news. It'll be interesting to see who they pick. And lastly, wait. And what do you mean? No, she hasn't. What do you mean? No, she hasn't. I don't have time now, but I'll send you the screenshots of the things that I'm talking about. Those are not my thoughts. Those are thoughts of people who've literally said, I'm just telling you, I'm not saying she's pushed conspiracy theories. I'm saying that people have said, listen, you got to listen. The words and the context matter. I'm not saying I, Kristopher Bilbrey, feel like she's pushed conspiracy theories and they've been wrong or whatever. I'm saying that there have been people that have felt in some ways she's went off and did some things that she should or should not have done. That's going to happen when you're in a public field like this. You're going to have people that agree or disagree with you. And I'm not saying that I'm saying those. I'm saying that people have said there have been things that she said that maybe she shouldn't have, or maybe they weren't exactly right. I know that there was a lot of question about the things that she said and did around the pandemic. And that is just absolutely I'm not even saying no, Tweety Bird. People in the universe that I'm aware of aren't my people or necessarily your people, but people that I'm aware of are just people. Like, how are you confused on this? There are 127,000 citizens in Delaware County. I know a lot of them, and I count maybe a handful of people that are my people, but that doesn't mean I don't know people. So there are people out there that are not my people that have said, well, she's going off the deep end again. But that's just because they didn't like something that she said. You don't have to, like, you don't agree with everything I say as by your comment there, but that doesn't make me right or you wrong. It's just two different opinions of this with the same issue. So good Lord. I don't have an issue with Donna. I've never had a problem with her. I'm just telling you, and I will, when we get done with this, I will specifically show you evidence of what I'm talking about. And you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, maybe I remember that. I like her. I've never had a problem. That just because you've never heard any doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's the other thing. It's got nothing to do with the hospital. I'm talking about as her position as the health officer of the health department. A lot of it, I'll just be honest with you, had to do with the pandemic. And you want me to be perfectly honest with you? I don't even know which side of it she came down. It's been 5 years since all of then, and I've put everything out of my head that she said. So I don't even know which way she came down on it, but I know there were people that questioned what she was saying. And there were a lot of people that were saying, ooh, should she be saying this? Should she not be saying this? That's what I'm referring to. And I'll show you when we're off here. The last thing I want to say before we go is there is a open house coming to the I don't know if I did. How is it to live in a world that you are just routinely wrong? That's wild. That is absolutely wild. So let me ask. So that would be like me saying your people are pushing your left, whacked out, leaning weirdos of the mad women Democrat voters that are pushing solar panels, those are your people, right? Are those your people? All the women that look alike that go up to the county building and push the solar panel ordeal and want the solar panels all over our farmland, those are your people, right? I know you are, but those are your people. Get it? You see what I'm saying? I might be against what they said about Donna, so that doesn't mean someone that says something about her that you don't like, that doesn't make them my people. It's just someone saying something about someone that you don't like. That doesn't make them my people. That's nuts. I don't understand it. But I will keep you posted on the walkabout with the crisis center. It will be coming up. I know that the elected officials from Muncie went through the... Oh, no, that's not true. There are plenty of conspiracies on the left. You want me to tell you what they are? You have to take a vax. People who don't take vax are trying to kill old people. Those were a lot of conspiracies. A lot. There were wild conspiracies that came from the left. We could spend a whole 2 weeks worth of shows on them that YouTube would disband me completely for telling you all of the conspiracy theories that came from the left. So I will keep you posted about the crisis center walkthrough. Nora Powell and a couple of other counselors walked through it. There were some people upset that they didn't notify the public about it, and there were very few questions asked. I'm going to be going through that walk whenever they allow it, and I'll keep you guys posted about that. So, all right. I appreciate it. Love you as always, Tweety Bird. I'll send you those screenshots at some point when I get off here. We'll be back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You guys take care. God bless each and every one of you. Hit the like and control your people out there. Goodbye.